Hello, everyone. My name is Donny Winter, and welcome back to Growing Up with Godzilla. This is my show where I have conversations with Godzilla fans about how they've grown with the character and franchise over time. We're in season 2, and I've had some great conversations with some wonderful human beings. And tonight, I will be continuing the wonderful conversation that I had last week with Sumagaysay of Project Nautilus Cosplay. This episode will be the conclusion of our talk, so I hope you enjoy it. Is this your studio space that we're in right now?
So this is just my room right now, and I've worked on these all these cosplays. I've been doing it here in this room. It's like what?
It looks so like artistically studio-esque.
It's like well, my bed is like right here, and then like this is all I got of space. The new head that I'm working on. Yeah. So yeah. So then there's like I have a little bit of the collection, some figures here. Most of them are monster arts.
I was gonna say, I think I spy a Mothra up there.
Oh yeah, that's the new Haya Mothra. It just arrived this week. I'm sad that I don't have the Monster Arts Mothra. I missed out on that one.
Oh,
I'm hoping like they'll do a special color. But yeah,
right.
this is most of my space working on the suits. And cool thing is though, there's this cosplayer that I know who like early this year offered me a space to like an actual workshop.
Wow.
And she gave me this whole tour and everything of what my space would be, and it was like literally a room like this and maybe a little like half more of space. You know, they have their own like spray booth, their 3D printing booth, and then all the other sections that they have, and then I have like my own little room to, you know, keep working on stuff. So that's something new to look forward to this year. They should have it ready like in about a month or so.
Wow. So that's something exciting to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
A new creative space to work in.
Yeah. And then I can finally like breathe here. All the fumes.
Hey, you've made it work though. That's what matters, right?
Yeah. I do not endorse working with cosplays and chemicals in your own personal room though. I do have my you know, respirators and filters going up every time I'm working though. But yeah, safety first. If you're
right.
Yeah.
But this is proof and as like inspiration for those who are interested in starting that like you don't need a huge space to start in. Like pick a corner, go for it, right? With proper safety measures and stuff.
Always eyewear and respirators and ventilation. Thankfully, I live in a building where there's like constant ventilation, but that's always something to keep in mind. So his new home is going to be that workshop soon, and then I'll be able to start doing more suits, and also hopefully start taking commissions.
Wow, that would be really awesome. That would be such an expansion, right?
Yeah.
So where did the name Project Nautilus come from? Like to designate like your cosplay? Like I'm curious.
So that was mostly due to the 2014 film's working title being Project Nautilus.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, like, when I started my project, I literally just, like, teased it, saying Project Nautilus, and then I put, like, an N with the same, like, graphic design of the teasers for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then that name sort of stuck after the fact. And as I started, doing more Godzilla related stuff, and also like my own original art, I started just like kept the meaning of Nautilus like more literally, you know, like as like exploring, you know, different art techniques and stuff like that.
It works though. It works. Yeah. And there's such a ring to it, right?
Yeah. So and now I have like a sort of like a kaiju sona named Not, is like this tentacle toothy monster um,
Hmm.
that I would love to like sculpt like a mask out of, or like do a sort of cosplay of my own original work. Um, so I'm exploring that as well. Um, More in like in the Nautilus name. Yeah, like I do a lot of 2D art. I do the cosplay, and then I also do a bit of 3D, which I haven't done much since college. I used to work
Hmm.
at I used to study at a video game university, and so now I'm playing with Blender, and then working on my uh, kaiju Sona into 3D model, um, potentially for VR chat and maybe like 3D printing it or something. I don't know.
That is
Um,
so cool.
yeah,
You like I find you to be one of the most versatile artists, honestly, because you do so much. And I know that you've worked on other projects as well with regard to like animation and stuff like that too. Do you want to are you allowed to talk about anything down that avenue?
yeah, like I'm currently working on this documentary with this director who has turned into a personal friend of mine, over these past 4 years, where it's almost like semi autobiographical, exploring like why I love Godzilla and why it's connected to me, and also
Mhm.
the world of cosplay. Um, so we're exploring that. I've been doing a lot of storyboard work for it, um, and a lot of visuals that we're now getting another animator to like basically like either recreate or reinterpret it, more fittingly. But I've been doing a lot of storyboard for that, so that's been something in the works. There's no release date yet for it, but we're hoping to finish filming this year. We've
That's
been working on it
exciting.
for like 4 years already.
That is really exciting. Obviously, as you've gotten older and you grew into, being a Godzilla fan more so and more so, like, what films developed into your favorites? Like, which ones did you begin gravitating to the most?
Biolante is a no-brainer. We've talked about this like many years.
Obvious,
I'm even
right?
I'm also wearing the cavity colors.
I am obsessed right now. That is amazing.
That movie was, I remember like my earliest memory of that one was getting it in Christmas.
Hmm.
So like for me, that movie has been like my Christmas Godzilla movie. Um, uh,
Who needs a Christmas tree when you have
yeah,
Biolante?
yeah.
I love
Now
that.
that just gave me an idea, just to make like a little flower with teeth, like right on the top of the
You,
Christmas tree.
you need to do this, and I need to see it.
Or
I'm so
no, you know
excited.
what? I have an idea. I'm not gonna spoil it.
More
the,
suspense.
you'll be the first one to know.
Yes. I'm so excited.
But yeah, that one has been one of my go-to Godzilla films. Mostly, yeah, because of that nostalgic memory of it, and I love the music and also like a little bit of the art direction.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a lot of like interesting color choices in the promotional material that really sticks out to me. Like a lot of the use of the purple and the green and all that. Um,
I have to say for that film, the one thing that really intrigues me are the textures. Like it's so like visceral and like the textures just really stand out in that film, and I think that's why a lot of people love it as well, because there's almost like a greater sense of realism because of
yeah,
that.
yeah, it really like yeah, it really gets seared into your head, like all those details. I think it's also because it's a very wet film, you know,
It
in,
is.
in, in terms of special effects, um, that they really use it to their advantage with when it comes to lighting.
Mhm.
There's a lot of contrasts in in the details. For the Showa era, I would say one of my personal favorites is Godzilla versus the Sea Monster,
Hmm.
just because of like the ensemble cast. and
Absolutely.
I just think like they're all they're all so quirky in their own, and I love seeing the dub as well.
Yeah.
The Sony dub is like hilarious.
The
Uh,
banter is amazing.
yeah, yeah. And then a lot of the dialogue, kind of like with I always say this with John Carpenter's The Thing.
Hmm.
Um, I always memorize a lot of the dialogue, and then like sort of like just reiterate it if I'm playing it in the background. Um, but yeah,
I rewatched that movie for the first time in like 5 years, like
which one? The Thing?
a Godzilla versus the Sea
Oh,
Monster, because I was like, you know what, it's been a while since I've watched it. It needs to happen. And I forgot about like the dancing competition segment at the
yeah.
beginning. And I was just like, what what is like as a kid, I was just like bop like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dance too. But now I'm just like, what is happening right now? It's so like there are so many like it's the movie has a lot of funny aspects to it. And I think that that's why I've grown to appreciate it over the years between that and like the story itself, right?
Yeah.
But
And also
then
what
just
came behind the scenes of the film, like what went to it. Like it was originally a Kong film, I learned,
mhm,
and then they started adding Godzilla in it, and you start to notice how sort of like out of character Godzilla is, but at
right,
the same time it's sort of fitting because of
right,
how he's grown as a character. Uh,
exactly. And then of course my queen is in it too.
oh yeah,
Granted, she spent most of it sleeping, literally at something I aspire to, sleeping, for years and years and years. But
please
that's just
wake up!
me. I know, right?
You should get an alarm clock or something.
No, and like I love the little spat that Mothra and Godzilla have at the end, where she just like
Uh,
slaps him. I'm just like, iconic, like love it.
I also love Kira Takarada there. May he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. He was so charming in that movie, and then I love his like his little character growth.
Right.
And then
It was like this grouchy introvert, and then gradually became like, oh, I guess these are okay people.
yeah, it's like he has to babysit everyone here.
It was great. It was great. Any role that he has, like he just steals the show, in my opinion. But like that role is one of my favorites of his. How about the Millennium series? Is there a favorite?
So I was gonna get to that. The Kiryu Saga is my has grown to be my all time. Yeah,
Same here.
yeah. Especially with you know there was a lot of I love I love a lot of aspects of it. There's the world building and how they connected to the Showa era. I think
Hmm.
it's a nice little nod to the franchise, to like the legacy of the films.
Yeah,
You can tell that Tezuka put a lot of love into
hmm,
making Shaku as Akane. You know,
absolutely.
she's like she looks like she's straight out of an anime.
I
Uh,
know, right? I love her so
yeah.
much. Like, and such a great character.
and and yeah, also that the just like the bit of character development that you get in the film is like it doesn't overstay its welcome too much, but
Hmm.
it's just there and it's just right. And then even the film has the first film has a nice little pace to it. As I worked on this suit, I got more attached to the Godzilla design
Yeah,
and also the films as well. Um, Up to the point where now I get emotional every time I watch it, and also the reinterpretation of Mechagodzilla is just like so well done. Yeah, like
absolutely.
having
Like,
it be a character. So
well, so not only does the Kiryu saga do that, but also it really turns the original Godzilla into a tragic character, right?
even more
And
so than what they tried in the original. Yeah,
it's kind of brilliant the way it worked out too, because it's like the original Godzilla's DNA slash soul slash spirit is now in this mechanical automaton, right? And it's like that just gives so much room for development, not only for Godzilla himself, but also the human characters that interact with him.
yeah,
And in Tokyo SOS, I think that also allowed for Mothra's character to develop as well. Like she's more than just like this deity guardian. Like she also understands the ramifications of like
of life and death.
of life and death, right? So like it allowed for so much to open up, and I think that's why the Kira saga is my favorite as well, is because it does cover so many bases and does it phenomenally.
Yeah, and also the music. Yeah.
Oh,
Which you were there for the last time we saw each other was in the Kaiju Crescendo.
yes, when we got to listen to Mashiro Oshima's, like, oh my god, that was amazing. Really
So,
cool experience. I
oh,
got goosebumps.
a funny thing from the Crescendo, I got there late and I was wearing I don't know if you were there, like at right there at the like right when they were about to start, but I had the Kiryu Saga, Kiryu Squad outfit, and I had gotten there late.
I do remember that.
I was like in one of the front rows, and then they were about to start. I forgot his name. I think his name is Eric, the MC, and he was like, there was a complete silence, and I got in, and I was like, and just like slowly, gingerly walked into the seat, and I went like, hi.
I
Like,
think I do remember.
yeah.
I was like kind of like sitting a few rows up and then to the middle, and I remember seeing.
It was so quiet, and then all of a sudden, Eric was like, and we're off to a wonderful start.
I do remember that.
And then they started. I was like, oh my god.
Like people listening to this, if you ever get to go to G Fest or another convention and they do like a concert celebrating like one of the composers or anything, go to it. It was such a really cool experience. And it was very surreal to be like in an auditorium listening to the music live, like goosebumps all around. I probably may have cried a couple of times, but I cry over everything, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah, it gets to me all the time.
Yeah. My only regret is that I did not get to meet Michiru Oshima.
No.
I was so sad, but if she comes back, I hopefully will get to. So now, okay, are there any specific kaiju or human characters that you gravitate to over the whole franchise?
Gigan, I'm a huge fan of. Just because of how outlandish the character is, and also the design itself. Like I love going back and drawing it every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very like reluctant about cosplaying it just because it's like so much to do.
I can imagine that would involve a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy seeing the recreation of it in the like last year, was it?
Mm-hmm.
The Wakasa project that they had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to see.
That was really cool.
But yeah, I love the chaotic nature of Gigan and just the cackle that he has. Is something that really stood out to me. It was also the first monster that made Godzilla visually like bleed.
Right. Oh my god, when I was a kid, I was like,
oh yeah.
Well, okay, so my first Godzilla film was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, so I like basically got to see Godzilla like exploding.
Kill Bill style.
I got to see jaws being broken, throats being slit. Like that film obviously took it to a whole new level. But when I saw Godzilla versus Gigan, I was just like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like in the 70s, they were taking inspiration from the Gamera series, and they were like, let's make Godzilla bleed every 5 seconds and find a way to make it work. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, there's Gigan. I love King Ghidorah a lot.
Which variation?
The 64. Yeah.
Very good.
It has such a well-balanced design, and I love how the MonsterVerse version sort of like honored that.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the facial design. It just seems very natural.
Yeah.
All the other iterations of Ghidorah. Also, the puppeteering is always like fun to see, and obviously, I love the whole like the implications of it. You know, being like this planet destroyer. You know,
Hmm.
like just Thanosing every planet. You know, and up to like Earth, and then it's like, and then he finds his match. You know,
Right.
so I love the little bit of world building that they had in the first film. As far as characters, Akane from the Millennium series, um, I do love the cast from All Monsters Attack, all the
Mm.
journalists, and also the entire cast of 2000 Godzilla
Oh
Millennium,
yeah.
especially Katagiri with his like his anime villain
I
presence.
just I
Like
love drama.
yeah,
I love the drama, right? He was so dramatic.
yeah, and then all of his like his stares and the glances that he would make.
Like he was just so intense, like
Yeah,
unnecessarily intense all the time. Like camp,
like
like very campy, and I love it.
and
I'm
I
all
love
for a
how
campy
he
villain.
wasn't. Yeah, and I also love that he wasn't like necessarily a villain. He was just more like antagonistic level.
Just an
Um,
ass hat.
yeah,
He was just an
yeah,
ass hat.
yeah. Trying to do his job, but it was like going too far. Yeah.
Well, another character that this character definitely was a villain, but the Exilian leader from Godzilla Final
Oh,
Wars, so campy, like so, and I I oh my goodness, such a funny character, but also imposing at the same time.
yeah.
Perfection.
Like very trigger happy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I love how he like tells all the other characters like, give me a moment. You know, I'm just like trying to watch my monsters do their thing.
For that film and all of its imperfections, there are absolutely gold moments.
Yeah.
Those are some of the gold moments, I would say.
I would say that like I was gonna mention this earlier, but Tokyo SOS felt like the true finale of the Tokusatsu Godzilla.
I feel
Uh,
that way too.
it feels like a nice little like goodbye to the original Godzilla and the his legacy.
Hmm.
Um, and then Final Wars was like the after party, the chaotic after party, the Godzilla blood party that they had.
That is probably the best comparison I've ever heard, and it's so true. Just the drunken after party, just celebrating all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how would you say Godzilla has? I mean, obviously, he shaped you as an artist, right? But how has he shaped you into the person you are today?
That's a very deep question.
I love
Something
me
that,
some deep questions.
yeah, it's not something that I usually like sit down to think about.
Yeah,
I would say like it has made me over time like less reluctant to make decisions and like following my gut in terms of yeah, basically making decisions in my life. I've also like learned to remain humble about certain things. I think like the most I could say is that it's made me feel like stronger about myself and about being sure of my decisions because I usually hesitate a lot um, and miss opportunities and um, these past few years I've made a lot more like bolder decisions and seeing where they go um, and then not being afraid of what comes next. Yeah.
absolutely.
Um,
That's a very unique answer too, because there is a certain boldness to Godzilla that I don't think we really talk about a lot. Like I know, like for me, like Godzilla's boldness taught me the importance of like standing up for myself and surviving like against adversity that I might experience. But like when it comes to like decision making and thinking of one's like capabilities and perseverance, like that's really interesting.
he advances instead of retreats. Is the
Exactly.
2000? uh,
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah. Now, you do love collecting a little bit, right? Do you do a little collecting?
a little bit. I mean, you saw a glimpse of it, but yeah, I do have a little bit of monster arts. Um, uh, I started like little by little uh, collecting different figures that I could find of the Kiryu Goji because I got so like enamored and attached to this design. So like any little bit of figure I could find, even the ones like from back in when the movie released,
Mhm.
uh, like the little wind up figures and stuff. I'm like collecting based on that Godzilla.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to reach right now because I have a pile of stuff there. But yeah, like I have like some of the like little magnet wind up figures of that film, and some of the chibi ones.
I love me a good chibi.
Yeah, and
They're so precious.
I love collecting a lot of them behind the scenes books.
Mhm.
I have like some like Shinji Wakasa ones. Um, I have a couple Kiryu Saga books. I didn't have the completion one. Um, and a couple of other movies. And again, mostly monster arts is what I'm collecting, just because I love the versatility of it, of being able to pose it, and something that I
Mhm.
wanted in a figure, in a Godzilla figure, and also because it's sculpted by people who have worked on the franchise. There's a lot more. I feel, like personally, there's a lot of value to it,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
and yeah, and then also because I cosplay as an auxiliary myself, I got this one.
Yes.
There's that. I
Uh,
really want a Curious Squad figure of that series. Hopefully they do it. Uh,
one of my favorite photos of us, because I think we have a few photos from G Fest, right? Is the one where we're both like saluting in your in your Care Squad
yeah,
outfit. It was so like I love it. It makes me so happy.
man, I really want to do that outfit again. I also want to like do it out of like actually make the helmet and all that.
Mhm.
Be fun.
I fully endorse this. My biggest regret though is I don't think I got a photo with you in your Kirugoji suit.
I owe you that one.
So we're gonna make that happen sometime. We're gonna make that happen. So I do have one final overarching question for you. And of course this one has largely to do with like both being a Godzilla fan but also an artist simultaneously. So like obviously like you have worked toward using your expertise and what you've learned and you're using it to kind of educate people who might be interested, right? So like do you have any advice for Godzilla fans slash like artists interested in what you do when it comes to like their journey, etc.?
I would always say start small. Like if you're if you want to make like a Godzilla suit, always experiment and always be I always I always tell people to be prepared for trial and error because even when I'm working on something that I already know which techniques to take, there always there's always going to be something that I underestimate.
Hmm.
So it's always to look forward to that. Um, so experiment a little. Don't be afraid to like invest in uh, in your time and money on trying it out. Um, like like if I'm selling the patterns, just print the arm, see where that takes you, play around with the tools, and get familiar with it, and yeah, and just go wild with it. Like I also say that there's never a right way to tackle a project. It always depends on feeling, like whether you want to use like uh, recreate actual techniques or do it your own way. You know, as long as it gets to the result that that you want, that's what's important. Never be afraid to experiment with it, and have fun.
Yeah. So, not to be very cheesy, but like to connect it back to our conversation of guys, be bold with it,
Yeah,
right? I am an artist of a different sort. I'm a writer, right? But like there is a certain boldness in any art form that you need to have in order to coax yourself to grow and try new things, right? Because if you don't, like if you worry about those pressures, you worry about people's opinions or like maybe limitations, you kind of sabotage yourself before you even get to the point of producing what you want to produce, right?
exactly.
So I think
Yeah,
that's excellent advice.
yeah. Like one of my biggest idols in the cosplay community is Adam Savage from MythBusters and
Mm,
Tested. And he always like encourages not to like gatekeep yourself in
yeah,
in a project that you're making, because you underestimate your potential.
absolutely. And besides, like, don't gatekeep yourself. We already have enough people trying to gatekeep everyone else anyway.
Exactly.
Sean, this has been such a great conversation. Like,
Yeah.
of course, I've been itching to just sit down and chat with you in general for a long time, but like being able to learn about like your history as an artist, a Godzilla fan, and then just watch you grow over these years has been such a really cool thing to witness. And I'm honored to be a witness to all of it. Like I'm honored to be your friend. There we go.
Likewise.
Thank you. So where can people find all of your stuff? I do have links below, but like feel free to talk about them.
So I have my Instagram. Uh, it's Proj Nautilus Costs, just like that. No spaces. Um, Project, short for project. Um, there's a link to my link tree that has uh, other places that you can go. Um, I have my Facebook, which is also Project Nautilus Costs, but I tend to try to simultaneously post um, between Instagram and Facebook.
Mhm.
Um, but mostly gravitate towards Instagram just because it's a lot more straightforward with just the images and showing progress
Oh, absolutely.
of any of any upcoming things that I'm working on. I also have Twitter, that I mostly lean towards 2D art,
Mhm.
um, and a little bit of the the Godzilla, like sculpting and all that, but mostly Instagram.
Instagram is where it is.
And I think that's it. I also have like my YouTube that has a couple of videos that I've edited together, like the World Cosplay Summit uh, showcase, and also I did like a pilot of a of a kaiju making tutorial series, um, that I like want to like continue, um, once I get the studio going.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, that gives you another opportunity once you get into that new space to like expand further and do that too, huh?
yeah.
That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I watched that initial pilot video and it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
My monotone voice.
Nonsense. Well, this has been a great conversation. So everyone listening, go follow Sean's socials, and for the YouTube, I will have that linked below in the description section of this video. Um, Sean, again, thank you for joining me. It means a lot to have you
Of
here.
course.
Don't forget that Growing Up with Godzilla premieres on the first and third Sunday of each month at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep standing tall, my friends, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
I love that.